Well, hello and welcome to Yellow Flag FPL, the podcast where all of our opinions should be yellow flagged. We are at part 2 of our last pre-season pod, Stephen, and we're doing a review of some of the players to look for, some of the players to avoid. A sort of 3 good, 3 bad, playing on the match of the day segment they do on the Sundays. We're on the midfielders now, so we're going to be talking all things midfield. I've got a couple of players to talk about, players I'm very interested in. So yes, I'm going to kick it off here as well. So I really like Rodgers at Aston Villa. I think his price rise has been exceptionally modest to 7 million. I know he is currently flagged, but if he is fully fit and ready to go, I think he's going to be in a lot of teams. 7 million for an attacking midfielder in an attacking team. I mean, do we need to say anything more? He's 8 goals, 11 assists last season. But I do like also Milan. Or, is it Milan? Marlin?
Yeah, we know who you mean.
He's had an exceptional pre-season. So I think either one of those fits quite nicely into the team. So yeah, Stephen, your thoughts? Have you got any Aston Villa midfielders?
I don't. I did have Marlon. 5.5 was very tempting. I just can't shake whether he's going to start or not because they have just signed Gessan, who again might not be in the first few weeks. They have Newcastle at home first. Rodgers is injured. I mean, they're guaranteed starters, people like McGinn and Tielemans, but they've not... I know Tielemans is actually in an interesting amount of teams. I wouldn't say he's an avoid from my side, but I think a lot of people are putting in a lot of hope on DEFCON, and also on him taking penalties. I can't remember how many penalties Villa had last season, but for a bit of context, Liverpool had the most with 9, I think it was, and Arsenal only had 2. The next team was 7, I think. So let's say Villa gets 6 penalties and he converts them all. That's 1 in 7 basically. In terms of a goal scorer return. He'll get the occasional assist or something like that, but that's not brilliant. I know he's only at 6 million, but I don't really see it. I like McGinn is a great player, but he played a bit more further forward last season, but never seemed to get anything back. Unfortunately, I can't really explain why. It always just went through either a Rodgers or a Watkins, basically. All the fullbacks would chip in. So I don't have any Villa players. I mean, I know we've moved past defenders, but one player I was considering is my old friend Maatsen. He's actually started a fair bit in pre-season. I haven't got him, but if he starts playing every week, I'm going to be absolutely furious. But we'll move on from that. So no, I don't have any Villa players. If you could say to me, Malin will play every week, he's straight in, 100%. But I unfortunately can't guarantee that. So I'm with a bit of a heavy heart avoiding. I think Villa will be just in general about Villa. They'll be good this season. Newcastle are going to fall away. Probably, Champions League, maybe? They'll probably just come 5th, but either way, they'll be up there in terms of goals scored.
Yeah, I've currently got Milan in there at the moment, starting. So yeah, all good players that you wanted to mention, players that you think will be interesting for midfield.
Ooh, Cold Palmer. He's the highest owned midfielder over Salah. I don't think I need to spend too much time about him. I know he went through that bad run. He got like 1 in 8, I think, and I can't really explain why, but he's going to score. He just is. Chelsea are going to be better this season. I agree with you. They're probably going to be comfortably top 4. He scored when they're bad. He typically scores when they're good. Only 10.5 million. I'm saying only because he's 4 million less than Salah. But again, Barry, I don't like going with high ownership players, but I find myself drawn to him, in particular because Chelsea start. Actually, we say Villa have the easiest start. Chelsea actually probably have the easiest start. The only concern you would have around Chelsea in general, why he's my only player that I've got, is because of the Club World Cup. How is that going to derail them? They played their first friendly on Friday. I mean, actually, the Club World Cup is an entire friendly tournament, so they've actually played quite a few, I suppose. How that's going to impact them, nobody knows. You would assume negatively, so that's why I've only just got Cole Palmer. But yeah, even when Chelsea were pretty poor, he would get returns. So I think he's a lock, really. Yeah, I don't really know how else to put it. I can't see him leaving my team throughout the season, but let's see.
Yeah, I've got him as well. I've got Palmer, and I've actually just realised I've got 3 Chelsea, one for the triple. But yeah, no, I like him this season. I think he's good. I think he's on. I think he actually might make a more sensible captaincy option than Salah in the first game week, to be honest. But I'll leave that there. Yeah, Palace at home versus.
Okay. I mean, I initially say yes. I would have thought Palace would be on the beach all season. Their goal this season is just to finish 17th. They don't really care. Then after their heroics last season, but the Community Shield really changed beyond that. Like, they're just a good, interesting team. That being said, Eze at one point looked to be going to Arsenal, but now appears to be going to Spurs. Apparently.
Yeah, I've heard that those talks are off. I've heard they're off.
Okay,
I think he's going to stay.
Yeah. If he does, he becomes very interesting. 7.5, 5 more than Rodgers. Palace just having fun. In terms of being on the beach, they just look like we're actually going to have fun. They've got players like Wharton and Richards, and perhaps moving on to certain group players who've got a point to prove. A bit like Fulham, really. They're just going to play and not care, and that means that they will have some shots. They'll get some good results. So, yeah. No, I'm not sure.
I quite like the Sarr shout, and Mateta as well, but we can come on to that. But I like Sarr in midfield, 6.5. The problem is they do have a pretty shocking start.
Awful start.
So I put their players in a watch list, to be honest. I mean, Chelsea away, Forest at home, Aston Villa away. Then they've got 2 nice fixtures in Sunderland and West Ham. But then Liverpool at home, Everton away, Bournemouth at home, Arsenal away. I'd say their fixture run doesn't really properly clear till game week 10.
Yeah. At which point they'll be in Europe.
Yeah, exactly, right. So then you're like, do you really want to go in on those players? I don't know.
That could be interesting. All I'm saying is the way you're talking about Palace is sort of like, they're like a 1, like Southampton were last season. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair on you there, but I think Palace aren't going to be completely terrible this season. I think with Europe and everything like that, they're going to finish around the 15th mark because they're not going to get relegated and they're going to be comfortable with that. But no, I think Salah against a brand new Bournemouth back 4. I don't have Salah, and that absolutely terrifies me, to be honest with you. That absolutely terrifies me, but I've accepted the pain and misery that's going to come from that. Or I'm actually, no, I haven't, that's a lie. I'm hoping it's going to be like that game where they won 9-0 against Scott Parker's Bournemouth. I know, and Salah got no goals or assists, so that's actually what I'm hoping for.
Well, let's get back into the midfielders that were interesting, because we've gone exceptionally sidetracked then. Another player I really like is Doku, 6.5 million, 3 goals, 6 assists, only 16 starts, but 29 appearances in total. But he played a lot of the pre-season games, played a lot of the Club World Cup as well, scored a few goals, created some others. I also believe with Rodri back, Man City just are a better team, we all know that. So I don't think he's going to have to cover as much as he had to do before, because obviously Rodri is there to cover a lot of the ground there. My only caveat with any Man City players is the Club World Cup, much like Chelsea, could have really affected them mentally in a negative way, although Chelsea obviously might be a bit more positive, but maybe a bit tired. They played a lot of games, Man City, last season, so will they be a bit pooped for the season ahead? I don't know.
Has Doku played a lot pre-season? I like him. He's quite an explosive player. I like Sevilla.
He's so quick.
I like Reinders, or I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but I like a lot of Man City players. I just have no idea who their starting 11 is.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Other than Haaland, I have no idea who's going to start with them. No idea.
And then another player from your side, though.
So in terms of my ones that Wirtz is one of them. 8.5 million. Starts as the 10 in the Community Shield. Looks like he's going to play. He's been brilliant. He's just a very good player. Bundesliga tax aside, if you just watched him, he looks good. Is it Salah cover? Of course it is. The fact if you don't have Salah, you have to have. If you're not going in with either Salah or Wirtz, you like to live life on the edge, and I'd like to meet you, because even for me, I think that's too rogue. But But also, I just think he'd be really good. I just can't see him not. But a few DEFCONs here and there as well, because he's a real workhorse. Yeah, 8.5 million. What's not to like? Basically, what's not to like?
I do quite like it. I'm quite worried about that pick, but I've decided to go a bit heavier and elsewhere, so I just really can't fit it in. And I'm going to wait.
But you have Salah, so
yeah, but I have Salah, so I'm happy with that. Okay, my next player that I want to recommend, and this is going to cause some debate, is Cunha of Man United.
Hey!
So look, I'm not starting with him because I think we've got to see how Man United go. We have no idea what they're going to turn up in, but to quote Jake of the previous pod, Cunha was great in a terrible Wolves team, so there's nothing to say he can't be great in a terrible Man United team. Except the difference here is going to be surrounded by much better players, with all fairness to Wolves players, and he's going to be the second string striker, and he's registered as a midfielder. He's 8 million. I think he's at that price point really interesting. I also, and we're recording this on the 12th of August, but with Sesko's price coming in as well, I think he is an interesting player, but that's in the strikers will come forward. So I think there's a lot of interesting FPL assets in Man United's team. They just, as a team, are still pretty awful, right? So don't go for the team, Stephen. Go for the FPL points value. We're not a Premier League podcast.
Right.
We're an FPL podcast.
All right, in that case, I'll do my avoid at all costs Bruno Fernandes.
Okay.
My God. Right. So, Man U've had the second worst transfer window behind Newcastle, and I'll tell you why. All they've done is sign 2 players that mean Fernandes drops further back. I've seen loads of points around, DEFCON for Fernandes. When he plays as a cam, yeah, 100%. He's a workhorse. He's probably the second best pressing cam after Odegaard, probably, maybe in the league. But he's not going to play there anymore. He's going to play in central midfield. So that's gone. And he's also their best player. Why? What? People are like, oh, Man U, they're starting to right the ship a little bit. Explain to me the transfer strategy of, we have our best player, let's make it life harder for him. They have not signed a wing-back. Isn't that the whole point of Man U? That they're meant to be signing wing-backs. Man U are going to be so bad this season. And yes, Cunha scored goals in a bad Wolves team, but he was the main man. Everything went through him. He's also at Wolves, where he was a diamond in the rough. He is not that anymore. He's going to a club where... And the one thing I will say is still unfair on Man U, even though they have been toilet for so long, they're still treated like the best team in the league, and that's not fair. Like, that actually isn't fair. That's the one, my one sliver of sympathy for Man U is that they are still treated as if Fergie's still there, where they are not, and they have not been that for a long time. Like the talking heads thing, like, you're not a big club anymore, guys. Accept it and move on. Man U are not going to be good. They also have a bad start. They've got. I can't remember the start. Their start isn't great. They've got Arsenal first, which I don't think is going to be good. They've got Fulham away. Fulham only want to play well against Man U to get, all their good players will play well because they're playing Man U to get the money and then retire. Burnley at home. Oh, that's a bit... Okay, so if Man U have lost those first 2 games. Let's say Arsenal batter them. And let's say Fulham win by 2 goals or more. That's not unlikely. They've then got Burnley at home. Oh my God, the pressure. Oh my God, the banana skin that just comes in there. Man City away. Chelsea at home. No. Again, and that's why I looked up penalties last season. Man U got, I think it was 4 penalties last season. Even with the 4 or 5 penalties, Bruno Fernandes, Jesus Christ, no. Am I clear on this? Any questions? Anything?
No. You're okay. We've heard enough of that. And your other avoid players before you rant any further. Are they going to be all Man United players?
They're not, actually.
Okay.
So one is Njai. To be fair, I think Grealish has just been signed. Even if Grealish hadn't been signed, I don't really get it. Everton are going to be decent this season, but Moyes is a compact player. I think at 6.5 you can get a Matoma, for example. I don't think he's the best player at 6.5, to be honest with you. And now with Grealish there, he's a hard avoid. And then the other one is Declan Rice. A lot of people think they're going to get both attacking returns and Defcons with Declan Rice. That's actually not true. He's going to be a box-to-box. I think he's just going to be shy of Defcons. He's going to get the assist to the assist. Going to play very well, but from an FPL perspective, I don't see him doing quite enough to get an attacking return and not doing quite enough to get that. He's just going to get 2s, 3s, and 4s all season.
No, fair enough.
Great player, but just because you're a great player does not mean you are a great FPL player. Luka Modric proved that for years. One of the best players in the Premier League, but from an FPL perspective was just no bueno.
I agree with you there, and Declan Rice is actually in my avoids as well, so we can agree on that one, which is good. I just think his price is really preventative. There's plenty other 6.5s at his price that are pretty good. Grealish is actually 6.5, so he could be in a watch list.
There you go.
Think about if Moisey gets him falling in love with the game again.
Will he ever go back to, Villa Grealish? I mean, part of me hopes he's in Liverpool now. Plays a few games, has a few beers, has a few other things that Grealish likes to do, and gets back to his best. But will he? Has Pep completely ruined him? Are we being too? I think everyone wants him to, but will he?
I don't think Pep's ruined him. I think that's unfair on Pep. I think what's happened actually is that Pep has asked him to play in a certain way, and that's just not the way that he is used to playing. He wants to play in a freer role. He wants to be the big man in the team. And to be fair, that's because he's grown up being that, right? So I think he kind of has a choice to make. Either he is accepting of the fact he's not going to be that big guy anymore in the team, and he has to play a certain way and sort of put the tricks away for the betterment of the team, or he goes to, with all the respect in the world, someone like a Villa, someone like an Everton, where he can be the man, right? And then you can see him flourishing and doing really well. I actually don't think it makes Njai less attractive. I think it makes him more, to be honest, because you could see that Njai will fit into the 10 role, Grealish on the left, do like a 4-2-3-1 kind of formation with maybe one of their other wingers on the other side, the Kiwi and McNeil, and then you put Beto through the middle, or this new kid Barry. That's a nice front four, right? So I think Njai at 6.5 is really interesting, to be honest. But back to my picks to avoid, I suppose. Elliot Anderson. Honestly, I know the Defcons were there to bring in players like him into the game. And supposedly he would have got Defcons in 50% of the games that he played had they been applying last season. But we have to remember Forest massively overperformed. They massively overperformed. Like, you're talking about at least 30% over what they should have done, right? At least, So that's on XG, XA, all these positions. So it's just I can't see them having the same season. I mean, Anderson, at 5.5, I'd rather have a Dingro. I'd rather have Grant Xhaka, to be honest. He's at 5 million.
Yeah, he's in my team. Yeah, he's in my team.
He's a great pick. 5 million. He will get some goals and assists. He will get some Defcons. And my final avoid player is a Man United player. So being a bit contrary and agreeing with you, I suppose, to a certain extent, and that is Mbeumo. So Mbeumo is 8 million as well, same as Cunha. He's 17.4% owned, but he got 5 penalties last season out of his 20 goals. He's not going to be on penalties this season because that will be taken by Fernandes. So if you've got Mbeumo, his attractiveness just isn't there anymore, I don't think. He also plays on the right, which is Ahmad's position. So yes, of course, he could play on the left, but will that hinder him because it's not his natural position? I'd much rather have Cunha. Cunha is definitely in my thoughts. I wouldn't be surprised because I'm probably going to early wild card if I'm bringing him in sort of towards the beginning of the season, sort of game week 6 or 7. So yes, I would be avoiding Mbeumo like the plague. I do have a couple of players to mention for the watch list. Madueke, I think.
Yeah. With
Trossard looking like to be...
I'm a bit annoyed. He's starting to... It's quite worrying how he's winning me over a little bit.
7 million. 7 million, and he's going to be playing a bit more, I think, with Trossard throwing his toys at the pram and wanting to go to Crystal Palace or even Brentford, I saw the other day. He also is going to be competing against Martinelli, but Martinelli has never been a sure starter. I think what's interesting about Madueke is when he's played for England with a traditional number 9 in the form of Harry Kane, he has done quite well, And if we are assuming that Gokares is going to start loads of games, and he is a traditional number 9, I think he could get some really interesting positions. Last season, he got 7 goals, 5 assists, but he's only 1.5% owned. I think he's great, and all the Arsenal fan TV coverage has been how he needs to start against Man United. So yeah, I think Madueke is a great shout. Great shout.
Just add in a bit of Arsenal context on him. Martin, I don't know why we haven't sold Martinelli, to be honest with you. He never really recovered from that injury. I don't know what it is. His decision making's gone a little bit. Sharpness. I can't quite put my finger on it because he can still beat a man, but just for some reason, he had, maybe it's just he hasn't evolved like Saka has. Him and Saka had very similar games when they both broke into the team. Saka has just gone from strength to strength. Martinelli hasn't. Saudi wanted him. I would have bitten the handle for that money. I guess they want him in reserve. So Madueke becomes more interesting, and I think he becomes a bit more interesting because the reason why he works well with the number 9 is that he's better at crossing. He's got the step over, but he puts a good ball in. He's not. He isn't Salah. He's not that sort of guy who can. He's not going to be an Iron Robin or anyone like that. What he wants to do is beat his man quickly, and whip the ball in. Yeah. And we're so used to an era of 2 inverted fullbacks, but sometimes just being unorthodox and being a bit different and going back to an old 4-4-2 style winger of somebody who just beats the man once, whips it in onto Gokares' head while you've got Saka doing what he needs to do. You also got to remember that Barry's best friend, Miles Lewis Skelly, that also means that he would probably start more because basically he would be the one to cut in where needed. If Martinelli starts, it'd probably be Calafiore starts at left back. So I think if you ask most Arsenal fans, it would be between Calafiore, I can never pronounce his name, but anyway, the gorgeous Italian left back, centre back, and Martinelli, or Madueke and MLS. It would definitely be the latter. Again, is there some concern that because we just buy Chelsea's garbage every year, that I'm really trying to persuade myself this was worth Willian, this is worth Sterling, all that pain and misery that's finally going to be worth it. There's definitely a factor there, but Madueke, if he's playing left wing and just putting the ball in, and if Gokares plays every week, avoids injuries, he could be an assist machine basically.
Yeah, no, I agree. The other 2 players I want to talk about that are sort of worth on the watch list. Drewsbury Hall, who's 5 million, who's just signed.
Everton, no?
Yeah, Everton, 28 million, attacking midfielder. What's not to love? Gakpo, the forgotten man. No one's talked about him. And I don't understand why, because he had an absolute cracking season. Really good player. I know they've signed some extra players, but then obviously Diaz has gone. I still think it's a good chance he'll start, 2 out of 3.
Starts with the Community Shield.
Yeah, start the Community Shield. Did he score? I can't remember if he scored in the Community Shield, but
he was actually awful. he was pretty bad, but a lot of Liverpool players were poor in that game.
But he's 6.1% owned. He's got 10 goals, 5 assists. He's 7.5 million. That's really cheap to get into Liverpool's attack. So I think if it looks like Liverpool are going to absolutely dominate the league, and I can't get to Wirtz, and I think Gakpo's going to start a few games, I wouldn't be surprised if I end up owning him, to be honest. So so yeah, that's my last one there. But do you have any other midfielders you want to mention before we close part 2?
I do. Yeah, no, just quickly, and also to talk about a club that we haven't talked about, and a player that I like is Wilson at Fulham. It looks like he's going to get the number 10 berth. He's 5.5 million. It's very easy to forget about Fulham for many reasons, but they finished 11th last season. They're going to finish 11th, 10th, 12th. There's a very, very decent chance he's going to be one of the best for points per million, basically. He's not going to score every week, but 5.5 million. He's very interesting. Fulham have a bit of a weird start, which doesn't help. And again, as mentioned, all their players want to leave Fulham, so they only play well against big teams. But I think there's honestly, I don't know. The more I've looked at Harry Wilson, the more I've sort of semi-convinced myself he is going to be the one to be the best points per million. His goal scoring assist record isn't great, but he's also had some injury problems. Hasn't always started. He's 28 or whatever he is now. Either way, he looks to be the starting 10 for a solidly mid-table team. He's 5.5 million. I think that makes him pretty interesting, basically. And then the other one is I'm going to be very unhelpful here and say I don't know. And the reason why I don't know is it's Spurs number 10. I will know tomorrow. I'm hoping, and he's in my team already, and that is Sarr. I'm hoping he's 5 million. I'm hoping Spurs Sarr. Is it Mata Sarr? What's his,
Pat Sarr.
Right. Yeah. So the reason why is that it looks apparently he's going to be the number 10 for Spurs. Now, if he doesn't start against PSG as number 10, he's going to be gone from my team. But who else is it going to be? Madison's obviously out for the season or most of the season. Yeah. Kudus is on the wing. Kulusevski's out. Who's going to be Spurs' number 10?
Yeah, I don't know. We need to sign someone.
There you go.
Is the short answer.
But you're not, cool. You don't seem to be. I mean, you were. I mean, Savinho was rumoured. Obviously, Eze has been rumoured, but those talks have fallen through. So, okay, let's put this another way. If Sarr starts as number 10 for Spurs against PSG, he's 5 million. So Spurs have a very good start. He's not in your thoughts. He's not in your team.
I don't know. I think there's too much change in that
team. I've got a bite there. I've got a bite.
I wouldn't. I would rather have Kudus. Although Papsar has scored a few goals before, so yeah. But that's a good question to leave us on for the midfielder section. So that's the end of part 2. Again, please give us a like, subscribe wherever you get the podcast. Please give a follow on the Instagram page. Keep coming through with a few of your thoughts, notes, comments on the pods. We're going to be right back with part 3, which is going to be on strikers. So stay with us, and we will see you then.
Thank you.